Hello, my name is Halo PC Draco, and I will be creating Zmodeler tutorials to help you create a police car for GTA 4. In this tutorial, I will be teaching you how to add a Wayland Justice light bar to an unlocked Ford Crown Vic. The Zmodeler version I will be using is 2.2.6 build 992. The other program you will need is OpenIV or SparkIV. I use OpenIV. We will be using one of these programs towards the end of the tutorial. To make this tutorial easier, I will provide the links for the Crown Vic and Wayland Justice light bar. If you choose to use a different car and or light bar, I recommend lcpdfr.com or lcpdmods.com to get unlocked models for beginners. After you have two files downloaded and placed on your desktop for easy access, now we can begin. First thing we're going to click is Textures Browser. Click Add. Find where you saved or extracted your two files. I'm going to go to my equipment and grab all of these and click Open. And I'm now going to add my car textures over here. Once you have your textures in your Textures browser, click OK. Now we're going to import the equipment, which is the light bar first. And now I'm going to import the car model. Now you want to make sure your car is not gray or black or textures that are missing. So I'm going to click this button right here, which maximizes just one window. Seems to me that the car looks good. The texture that you see that's mapped on the car is your template for creating your skins and positioning equipment on the vehicle. So we're going to click this again to get your four windows back. You can have any combinations of these. I usually use left here, 3D here, front and top. You can use 3D anywhere you want. You can have two 3Ds. You can show the back of the car, the front of the car. So it's completely up to you. So I'm going to put this back to the left and keep this on 3D. First thing we want to do is we want to position the light bar on top of the car. So what we're going to do is we're going to uncheck this box, and then we're going to select Quad R, hit your spacebar or selected mode. I usually just hit spacebar because it's easier. And now you're going to hold down your right click like this and select all of this. Now that we have it selected, we're going to bring our car back and click Modify, Move. Now you can zoom in by clicking on the box that you're looking at and just scrolling up. Notice that the light bar disappears. You're going to hold down your scroll button and drag your mouse so you can move the window around. So now we're going to click anywhere on the white blocks to move the light bar left or right. You can switch each window just by going over, as long as you don't press anything over here. So if I go to 3D, hold down the middle click and move the car so I can get a better angle of this light bar as we move it on the left screen to put it on the car. So I'm going to zoom in on this car right here. I'm going to move it downward. These blocks right here, you want them to be inside the body shell of the vehicle. So now I'm spin by left clicking, spinning the 3D model to make sure that it's getting positioned right. So I'm going to zoom in some more. Once I have it positioned to basically where I want it to be, which should be right about here, I'm going to click on the X to make it so it's not inverted. So now when I go to move it, up and down is the only way. I can't go left or right. It won't let me because it's been deselected. So we're going to move this into our body shell. Just like that. Now if the light bar is too wide that you selected, other than what I gave you in the download link, we'll do you can resize it by scaling it, but that will be a different tutorial. So hopefully you grab this car with this light bar, so it'll be much easier for you to watch the tutorial as you go along with it. So this is basically where I want the light bar to be. So now I'm going to zoom out from the car, make sure it looks good. Now I'm going to uncheck the police car. I'm going to hold down right control and then right click and drag to deselect just the light bar itself. Notice this little dummy down here is still pink. So now what we're going to do is click X. So now you have X and Y selected, and we're going to move the dummy in front of the light bar, typically towards the middle of it. So I'm going to zoom in by scrolling up. Where your mouse is where it's going to direct the zoom. So I'm just going to zoom in just right here, and I'm going to line this up with that. Now since we've got the front, we can zoom in. That looks about right. So we're going to zoom in this one. Since we have it where we want it, I'm going to undo the X again by just clicking on it and using the top down, just bringing it up a little bit so it's half in the light bar, half out. That's where the direction of the lights is going to be going. So once that is there, we're going to hold down control and we're going to deselect the dummy, and it should go back to blue. Now that we have that done, we're going to bring the car back to make sure it looks really good. And if that's where you want the light bar, look at from all angles, make sure it's not glitched in the vehicle in any way that you can see. So that looks really good. So now you're going to click the plus sign for this, and where it says helper, you're going to click on it twice and rename it ELS, just like so. Now you're going to click on the plus sign for police.wft, plus sign for chassis, and now you're going to click and hold ELS, and you're going to drag this right above, like this, above extras. And if extras open, just click the minus button. After that's finished and done, right click on the waylandjustice.wft and delete. It's not needed anymore. This car does come with its own wig-wagging headlights and taillights, but we're not going to be using them. So what you're going to do is you're going to right click on extras, edit, and delete. As you scroll down and you see misc or miscellaneous _D, if you uncheck the box, this car does come with its own bodyguard. Just in case you don't want to put one in, it comes with one. We're going to leave that in there since we're not going to be adding a bodyguard to this car in this tutorial. Okay, so with that in mind, we're going to now export our model by clicking export and selecting you might have to have a new folder for this. You can call it testing or my police car. We're just gonna put test car. You want to keep the file name the same as what you imported it with. So I'm going to type in police and click export. Make sure stored textures is not on. If your textures get stored, that means you will not be able to edit them like your textures for your ELS if you want them to be different shades of red or blue. So make sure your preferable texture is PNG, collision is checked, slice model is checked, and click export. Sometimes you'll get errors, like this one when I started trim.png was not found. I don't believe it actually came with the car. It can apply on polygon levels only. By accident I clicked on something. And using texture vehicle underscore generic mud underscore car, which doesn't suit settings or GTA shader, you'll get, as long as it's exclamation points like this and not red, with the exception of this one doesn't matter. You should be pretty good, pretty much golden. So with that, now that's done, make sure you do save your progress as you go if you're adding more stuff. So by clicking file save, I already did it, so I'll just click save as, and I created a folder in my car files, Zmod save files, name it whatever you want and click save. I'm going to replace it with the same thing. If you don't, and Zmodeler, like if you minimize it or you come back and down here it's a red exclamation point where it says Zmodeler has lost connection or something, and you didn't save your progress, you're going to have to load your last save, and it will, you'll have to redo whatever you did. It's a pain in the butt, but it's well worth it to save as you go. Now, if something does go wrong on the car, what I usually do is the things that I know will work, I'll keep overriding my save. But if I add a new model of something, then I'll come up here and I'll save as Zmod tutorial 2, or name it whatever you added new to the vehicle. Now that you have exported your model and saved your project, you're going to exit. And now this is where OpenIV comes in handy. A lot of people use SparkIV. I personally don't like it. So now what you're going to do is you want to run it as administrator, but I have it in my properties set automatically to run as administrator as I double click it. Also for Zmodeler, you want to run it as administrator as well. So I'm going to double click OpenIV, click yes. I'm going to select Grand Theft Auto IV. Mine automatically connects. When you do it, you're going to have to either search for your GTA IV folder. So once you get here, you're going to click on edit mode. While in editing mode, all changes will automatically be saved. Do you want to continue? Yes. Since I model quite frequently, and as you do it, you're going to want to go up to Tools, Options, Default Work Mode, Edit, Close. So now, when you open OpenIV and select your game, it's automatically going to be in edit mode. So now you're going to click on Models, double click CD Images, Vehicles.img. Up in the search bar, you're going to type in POL. To make this easier, ICE. Don't hit enter, it automatically filters it out. So now we're going to open up police.wtd. I have the clan I'm in, I have their clan, the clan cars are in here. So I have it backed up, that's why you see it down here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to right click and left click to delete all the textures. I wish they had a delete all and make it perfect. So let me do this. This will be very short if you have default cars in your game. Now that you have everything deleted, we're going to click on Import and then find where your two files are. So you're going to go to your equipment and your textures, highlight them all, and automatically generate bitmap levels and automatic for texture format. Click OK. Then we're going to import again, and I'm going to go back one folder, car files, textures, and grab all of these. Now, in this instant, the emergency lights underscore EMIS, this is not the one you want to use. So if you want, you can import the textures of the car first, and then your equipment for the Wayland Justice. So what I have to do is select the texture I want, and I had to replace it with my equipment because it's different. Emergency lights. So you want to make sure this is the same, just to make sure. It looks like it was. You're going to make that emergency lights N. It looks like it's not the same. So we're going to click on this one as well. And then we're going to click Save on that. And now we're going to go up to Police, and we're going to click on Replace Current File. So we're going to click on that, go back a folder, Car Files, wherever, mine's in Test Car, and you're going to double click this, make sure it doesn't say any errors or something, and then if you double click the car, it should look exactly like this, or depending on where you put your light bar. So now we're going to exit out of this. We're going to go File, Rebuild, select this, and then we're going to rebuild our vehicles.img. Once that's done, click OK. You can either click yes or no. I usually click no. It just brings you back to the main page of what you clicked on. So now we can exit this, and I will go in the game and create a multiplayer game and see how our car looks in game. I'm in my game. I created a LAN server so there's no pedestrians around me. So if you have a trainer, you can use the train away. I hit the tilde key, which brings up your console if you have console enabled through your Steam or through your shortcut. So now I already tested to make sure it did work, just to make sure. So I'm going to type in spawn space police, hit enter, and the car does spawn. There's no texture on it, like I said in the first video. So it looks like we didn't get any RC20 errors or invalid resources. Let's try this out and hop in the game in the car. Of course. So let's check out the ELS lights. Ooh, that looks nice. I'm actually going to change my primaries to that. The headlights look like they're wigwagging, but it's from your warning lights being on. And there's no secondaries, even though there's the light flashes for them. Let's go for a test drive. The reason why it wants to tip over is the handling for the vehicle isn't set for this car. Even if it's a driver San Francisco model, depending on how when you put extra stuff on there, I guess it does make the handling different for each vehicle. We have in our car pack a driver San Francisco, Crown Vic, in Police 1, and we have a slick top in our Police 2 made by David Keith. He did a good job doing that. So this is our vehicle that you have created, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll be coming out with tutorial number 2, adding more equipment to your vehicle, and we'll just keep it short with one light bar for now. This is Halo PC Draco. Please subscribe and like this video and pass it to your friends.